Okay, back down to serious business. John Lucas has been the driving force behind Oklahoma State's rise to the top of the Big 12. And on Big Monday, Lucas and Joey Graham put the finishing touches on the win over Texas. We'll talk more about some spectacular dunks later in the show. Good afternoon and welcome inside Studio 66. I'm Doug Bell. Chris Piper is off this week. Someone that hasn't been off is the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They clinched the top seed in Dallas next week. When they knocked off Texas by 9 on Monday, Joey Graham had 20 points and 9 boards to go along with his acrobatic moves. Tony Allen chipped in 19 and 8. Royal Ivy did what he could do, but it was too little, too late. With a win over A&M today, they take the title outright. Filling in for Pipes is somebody that knows a little something about conference titles, Matt Doherty. Matt, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great, Doug. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's good to have you. I tell you, we looked at your resume. 3 conference titles as a player, 6 as an assistant for Coach Williams at Kansas, 1 as head coach at Carolina. You know what it means to win a regular season title, but does it mean as much as it used to?
Well, to the fans and to the media, March is all about the NCAA tournament. But to players and coaches, you definitely want to win the regular season title.
And you have the rings to prove it. Only 1 game left for everybody else now, so let's see how the Big 12 looks to start today. Texas is a game back from OSU in second. Kansas is locked up third. Colorado and Missouri are tied at 9 and 6, followed by Texas Tech. Oklahoma and Iowa State lead the second 6. Nebraska and Kansas State are next, followed by Baylor. And as always, Texas A&M is at the bottom now at 0 and 15. Normally, Texas A&M would be the 12th seed in the Big 12 tournament, but with Baylor out, they are now 11th and opening a 5th bye, which is important because, Matt, as you know, virtually impossible to win 4 games in 4 days.
It's very difficult to win 4 games in 4 nights. Missouri almost did it in '97. They lost to Kansas in the finals, but nobody's done it in the Big 12. The competition's too great. You don't have time to recover physically or mentally, Doug.
Yeah, some people have done it, but it's been a rare occurrence in other conferences, that is. Now, seeds 1 through 3 are set for the Big 12. Day 1 is up in the air with seeds 7 through 10 in question. The biggest battle is for seeds 4, 5, and 6. Colorado, Missouri, Texas Tech are trying to nail down the last 2 byes and any hope for the tournament title. So long as Colorado beats Nebraska in our second game today, they get a bye. Even with a loss, the Buffs still could get that bye. Texas Tech hosting Iowa State right now, and with a loss, could drop the 7th seed and probably out of NCAA contention. So let's look at the Red Raiders' NCAA resume. Matt, what do you think about these guys?
Well, in a normal year, I think they'd be on the bubble. But this year, I think they're in, regardless of what happens this afternoon against Iowa State.
Iowa State leads early on now, 4-3. But what do you think? Even if Texas Tech loses, go 8 and 8. No team in the Big 12 has ever made it in with an 8 and 8 record. Why Texas Tech?
Because it's such an unusual year. With all that's going on in the Pac-10 and the Big 10, those conferences are not very strong. They're not as strong as usual. So I think more teams from conferences like the Big 12, the ACC, the SEC will have a chance to get in. That's why I think Texas Tech is in, regardless of what they do today.
They are excited, and rightfully so. They've waited a long time for this day in Stillwater, Oklahoma. They come rushing into Gallagher-Iba, hoping to raise the roof and watch the Cowboys raise the banner as the outright Big 12 basketball champion. It is Texas A&M providing the opposition today, as Oklahoma State, having already clinched a tie, hope to win it outright. The Big 12 basketball championship, that is. Hi, everybody. I'm Fred White, our analyst, Paul Splittorf. Yeah, they're excited, and good reason why. This win today would mean a lot of things to them.
Place is sold out. It's Seniors Day. A lot of things going on campus today. They hope to be celebrating here this evening with the outright title, but a lot of other things on this game as well. The outright conference title, has been 40 years since they've done that here in Stillwater. Most wins since early 90s is 24. How about 14 conference wins and 12 undefeated seasons? The last time it happened here was in the mid-90s.
The way they're going to start him here today, Oklahoma State, McFarland, Miller, Lucas, Java Weatherspoon on Seniors Day, and Tony Allen. A&M with Anderson, Wright, Slocum Law, and Garcia Morales. And we are set to play basketball here today. Again, the Cowboys have already won a share of the championship. They hope to knock A&M out of this thing early here today and take them out of the ball game. And A&M hoping to get on Oklahoma State early and take this crowd out of the ball game. It's a raucous crowd always in Gallagher-Iba, and today could be special. The tip to Tony Allen and Oklahoma State.
It would appear that Oklahoma State has everything going for them. They are on a roll, a confident team in front of a packed house. Certainly a more talented team, but A&M have been down for so long and just loose enough, they may come out on fire.
Texas A&M number 10, Andrew Garcia Morales,
Foul on Oklahoma State. John Lucas, boy, what an addition he has been to this Oklahoma State team this year. The point guard, a legitimate threat to be the player of the year in the conference. So is his teammate Tony Allen. Janava Weatherspoon to miss. And the battle for the rebound out of bounds. It'll be A&M basketball. Weatherspoon, a senior, getting the start. Had 9 family members drove here from Delaware to watch him play.
And this is the first start he has gotten at Oklahoma State. He has been the 6th man all season long. Really one of their best players. One of their best ball defenders out on the perimeter. That's where he is right now.
Defending Garcia Morales, A&M, attacking for the first time.
A&M has had a tough season, but it has not been because of a lack of offense. This is a pretty respectable offensive team. They'll have to play well here today against Oklahoma State on-ball pressure.
Lucas all over AC Law. 8 to shoot for A&M. The defense tough. Jumping out to help. McFarland. It's Anderson from the top of the circle. Knocked down a 3 with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. And the Aggies draw first blood.
Nick Anderson got the start the other night in midweek at Oklahoma. No points, just a couple rebounds. Only played 10 minutes in that ball game. Didn't play at all in the second half.
Oh, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but sometimes on a day like today, you can want too badly to get a good start, and it can work against you. We're talking about Oklahoma State now. They probably need something quick, and Tony Allen trying to get it. A little too strong with a shot. Here comes A&M leading 3-0.
Everybody came to this arena all geeked up in anticipation of this ballgame. The best thing A&M can do now is try to limit the possession, slow everybody down. The fans are excited. I'm sure Oklahoma State is excited to get their seniors rolling.
Tony Allen with the rebound and the Nick Anderson miss. They are up 3-on-2 and a too strong on the pass. And out of bounds it goes. And it could be that Oklahoma State is a little bit too excited in the early going here.
Well, Eddie Sutton doesn't like what he has seen. He has just taken a 30-second timeout, not happy with the early possessions of his Cowboys.
Remember the game at Iowa State when they fell behind early? He took 2 very quick timeouts. One of them, I think, 30 seconds into the game.
Took it early, and they increased their defensive pressure, created some turnovers, took the Cyclones out of that one. Took early timeouts at Kansas State. They were down by 17 in Manhattan.
Let's take a moment now to thank our Big 12 corporate partners, Cooper Tire. Proud to be the official tire of the Big 12 Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing. And Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? And 7-Up. And your local 7-Up bottler makes 7-Up yours. 877-678-7335. Early on here, it's 3-0. Texas A&M, and again, Eddie Sutton calling that timeout. And he's been there a long time. He is not afraid to call him. He was awarded a huge award before the ball game, the Naismith Good Sportsmanship Award. We'll cover that story a little bit later for you here today. But Eddie, in his 34th year as a head coach, his 14th here at his alma mater, where he played for the legendary Henry Iba. AC Law working against Lucas, Anderson against McFarland.
A&M with the early advantage in this ball game, Fred, because they've been able to slow it down.
McFarland got the block in the lane. Now they scramble for the loose ball over there, and it'll be Oklahoma State basketball. Paul, I was just going to say, when they do get it started, and they surely will, it'll probably come off the defense.
Well, it usually does. They're a better team in full court pressure than they are in the half-court game, even though improved in the half-court game this year because the Cowboys had a lot more weapons, what they've had over the last few years. A&M continues to play the matchup zone defense. They want to keep some pressure on the ball, but they're concerned about the inside game.
That's Weatherspoon off the baseline with a 2, and he gets Oklahoma State on the board.
He is athletic, a quick jumper, good on-ball defender, and can score, averaging just over 5 points per ball game. At 6 points earlier this week against Texas.
Antoine Wright for A&M.
Good game plan by the Aggies so far. Making it a half-court game. If they're going to keep it this way, they're going to have to take care of the basketball, avoid the turnovers, and keep the Cowboys from getting in their transition game.
Nick Anderson, McFarland defending him. Anderson tries to take it to the circle, and help came from Jason Miller in a hurry. They double teamed him and now travel. The Aggies turn it over with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. And there's the defense of Oklahoma State paying the dividend.
Point guards are a good matchup here this afternoon. John Lucas, a couple years at Baylor. Melvin Watkins has a pretty good freshman on the floor in AC Law. Law with the height advantage and size and strength advantage over Lucas. Tried to post him up down low that last possession for the Aggies.
John Lucas talking to the official Bill Kennedy about physical contact.
Thought he was getting beaten up the last time down.
It likely might have been. Tony Allen, Weatherspoon.
Zone defense many times does a good job of slowing down an offense.
Lucas, almost every Oklahoma State miss has been too strong.
Well, too strong, and they're not getting the ball inside. Looking inside all the time. Actually, the first time around in a ball game won by Oklahoma State. It was Texas A&M that had the advantage on the boards. In fact, Texas A&M fouled out the 3 front line players from OSU. Joey Graham fouled out, Ivan McFarland fouled out, and so did Terrence Crawford. In fact, A&M was winning the game so badly inside, it forced the Cowboys into a rare zone defense. Well, the second time that happened this year, they played zone for a couple possessions in that earlier outing against A&M.
Boy, the Aggies so deliberate. 8 left on the shot clock. AC Law, Nick Anderson down the lane. Shot blocked partially by McFarland. He's got it. Up to Lucas. Here come the Cowboys on the run. Great dish to Weatherspoon, and AC Law stripped him. Timeout here with 15:47 left in the first half. Low scoring start. Texas A&M leading 3-2. We're back after this from your friends at Phillips 66.
In Lubbock, Texas, an important game for Texas Tech. Curtis Stinson on the break for Iowa State. They were down by as many as 11, but this brings them back. In fact, right now, close game, 23-18, Texas Tech. And Fred, as you know, Texas Tech has to have a win to get that bye in the Big 12 tournament.
Well, the win would get them a chance at that bye. You look at the tiebreaker possibilities in the Big 12, and they seem almost limitless, but Texas Tech still has a chance to get that number 5, and now Oklahoma State turns it over here, their 3rd turnover. Paul, what do you think it'll take to get Oklahoma State ignited here?
I think they usually pick it up on their defensive end. They've got a couple new players on the floor. There's Daniel Bobick out there defensively for the Cowboys. Larry Graham also on the floor. They have their normal starting 5 out there right now. And defense, when they get off to a slow start, keys their offense. They've struggled in the half-court game so far.
Nick Anderson with the reverse layup won't go. Antoine Wright, a tip try, won't go. And we'll see what the Cowboys come up with. Lucas is going to push it. Gets it to Joey Graham. Jumper to good.
Joey Graham about 11.5 points per ball game. He's an inside player. Very good with his back to the basket, but can also step out, hit the mid-range jumper.
6'7" junior and a good outside shooter. Has hit 7 out of 15 three-point tries this year, shooting 56% overall. Now the Cowboys in front for the first time today. 14:40 left in the first half.
Good matchups all over the floor, and there's one of them. Tony Allen defensively against Antoine Wright.
Nick Anderson lost the grippers on it. Out of bounds to Oklahoma State. Cowboys will play it in now in front by 1. They have been a great shooting team all year, 51% from the floor, the 3rd best ever in the history of this basketball program.
Shot 59% in their game earlier this year at Texas A&M. Not unusual to see a team like this shoot above 50%.
Bobby.
There's one of their best shooters.
That one loops in and out, and the rebound on the floor, battled for. A&M has it. Nick Anderson was able to capture it.
A&M off to a good start on the boards here this afternoon. Have an early advantage, 6 rebounds to 3 for the Cowboys. That is an area that they almost have to win.
And they've won it all year long. They have a 5-rebound-a-game advantage over their opponents. They've been a good, strong rebounding team. And they average nearly 17 offensive boards a game.
Guards are doing a good job of keeping their spacing for Texas A&M. They know that OSU likes to trap when they come across the top of the pick. They're keeping their spacing. That defender has so far to go. They can't get the double team they're looking for.
Jesse King, the miss, rebounded Oklahoma State. Lucas gets it up court in a hurry. And it's going to be a foul against Texas A&M, against AC Law.
Both these teams have terrific quickness out on the perimeter. Both teams look to spread the floor, put the ball on the floor, and try to go on the dribble drive.
Excuse me, that was Garcia Morales and his 2nd foul. Now Keith Blanks checks into the A&M lineup. Nick Anderson will sit down. Oklahoma State, McFarland, now Lucas. A new shot clock for him after the foul. Tony Allen. Joey Graham just hit the deck. Almost got stepped on twice. He's okay.
A&M has now come out in man-to-man defense, so giving the Cowboys a little different look. Oklahoma State more comfortable against the man-to-man defense. They get out and challenge the ball. OSU likes to use their quickness.
In the earlier matchup this year, that ball is out of bounds to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State won the earlier matchup, but it was tough.
Well, if you're going to play man-to-man, you've got to be ready to help with your defense. Got to rotate and take away the driving lanes.
Now A&M with a takeaway. Lucas back on defense, and Turner pulls up to shoot, misses. Wright's tip no, and picked up by Joey Graham. The Cowboys 3-on-2. Graham in the middle to dish to Bobbitt, who's inside and gets the point-blank layup down and a foul call.
Fred, they had a couple opportunities that time. It was a 4-on-2 break. They filled their lanes. Graham had a shot in the high lane, elected not to take it as they looked for a better shot. Went to Bobbitt on the baseline.
Bobbitt's first points of the day. He's an example of the maturity on this team. The 6'4" junior, a transfer from BYU, has done a mission, a Mormon mission. He's 24 years old. This is a very mature basketball team.
He goes to the bench, and off the bench is Witherspoon, so more good speed out on the perimeter for the Cowboys.
A&M now has missed their last 7 tries after making their first shot. And Oklahoma State up by 4 at 7-3.
And if they go cold shooting, they may want to slow it down even more. They've been very good at working that shot clock inside 10 virtually every possession so far here this afternoon.
AC Law with the basketball, handles it well. And the bucket good.
He's an impressive first-year player. AC Law quick on the dribble. Just took an upperclassman to class.
Down at the other end, that's a pretty wild layup try. McFarland got it back up, no, and Jesse King clears it for A&M.
And John Lucas now doesn't even wait to half court. He wants to get out there and challenge a little bit. Not happy with that last defensive effort. Wants to keep the heat on the freshman Law.
Now the turnover. Lucas picks it up. They're out 3-on-2. Lucas in the lane, good.
And the defensive pressure pays off. Oklahoma State, one of the top steals team in the league. Better than 8 steals per ball game. They like to put the pressure on the point guard and also cut into the passing lanes. They run through the passing lanes. That's where they get their steals.
Now the crowd getting excited here in Gallagher-Iba. Kevin Turner for A&M. Jesse King makes a lunge at McFarland. Got him back but couldn't get the shot. Antoine Wright, and look at Tony Allen all over him. And there's going to be a foul on Tony Allen now. He got in the air, and Allen draws the foul, his first. Well, I've been watching the A&M bench, and of course rumors abounding that Melvin Watkins and his staff will be dismissed at the end of this season. Boy, they are coaching like everything is normal. They're really going at it over there.
You can't tell by the way he has conducted himself at their practices, their shoot-arounds, or during the ball games. He was intense the other night at OU.
Take a moment now to thank our Big 12 corporate partner, Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big 12 Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing. Antoine Wright got them both down. And we have a timeout here. Timeout with 11:34 left in our first half. Oklahoma State with a 9-7 lead. AC Law among the Aggies keeping it close. We'll be back.
Keeping a close eye on that game in Lubbock, and right now Texas Tech has led the distance. Check this out. Ronald Ross on the outside. Boy, that's what Texas Tech needs. It's now 34-22 Red Raiders, Matt.
Well, Boston College over Providence, Villanova over Pittsburgh. Big East tournament should be very exciting next weekend. Split. Oklahoma State is not the only ranked team that's struggling.
Well, you talk about this time of year and the good conferences. One of the reasons that the Big East has got that high RPI is because of the depth in their conference. You'd like to cover your home floor, but apparently the lower part of that division equally as tough.
Charging foul on Terrence Crawford of Oklahoma State, turns it over back to A&M with Oklahoma State leading 9-7. Earlier this year, A&M gave them a hard time as Oklahoma State won the first matchup 91-79 in College Station back on February 3rd. This is how they're shooting here today. Oklahoma State hasn't made a 3 yet, and they're a good shooting basketball team.
Texas A&M, even though they haven't won in league play, have played in a lot of close ball games. In fact, have had leads at halftime, even into the second half in games that they went on to lose. Their biggest problems have usually come in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
They run Antoine Wright around the baseline, getting a screen. He takes it off the glass and ties the ball game with his 5th point of the day.
Probably the most talented player that A&M has, Antoine Wright, just a sophomore, 6'7" and just under 200 pounds. He is gifted, talented all the way around.
A&M defensively giving Oklahoma State problems. Lucas with a runner in the lane knocked it down. That is a tough shot. He's made 2 of them in this game.
Well, he's been able to get on the dribble drive. One was in transition right after he got burned defensively. That time he saw the open gap, got it into the middle of the floor. As a point guard, if you go in there, you've got to either find a shot or have a way out that you can dish off to one of your teammates.
Right with a miss that time, and Lucas, the little guy under the basket, picks up the rebound. Oklahoma State by 2. Lucas trying to add to it, doesn't, and he hits the deck. No foul called, and now we've got a foul at the other end, on the other side of the floor, I should say.
24, Tony Allen, returning for the Bulls.
On Keith Blanks. First on Blanks, 14 foul on Texas A&M. Denava Witherspoon back in the game. A&M putting up a battle here. They don't play like a team that is 0-14, but great work getting it inside to Terrence Crawford, his first bucket, and a 4-point lead to the Cowboys.
And Fred, the key is get it inside. If you can get inside that defense, you can make some things happen. A&M has a very small team on the floor right now. They feel that they compete up front with Oklahoma State. And the fact that they've got smaller, quicker people on the floor should help them defensively. It's an area where they've had trouble all season long.
Bobby Riggs is dribbling the ball an awful lot. Now gives it up.
Somebody's been dribbling an awful lot for A&M so far here today. They're in no hurry offensively.
King the miss, Joey Graham the rebound, and he get up to get it. Now Lucas.
Get the feeling Lucas is starting to get involved in this game. Good tempo, making some things happen. The last 3 or 4 possessions for the Cowboys.
Now we've got a foul down inside. That time they got Keith Blanks, his second foul.
Yeah, that's the mismatch inside. If you're going to go small because you want to get up and down the floor and have guys that can step out on the floor offensively and handle it, then you've got to match up inside. The Cowboys bigger and stronger up front right now than the team A&M is featured.
5 team fouls on A&M, 4 on Oklahoma State.
The Cowboys continue to look inside with a small lineup on the floor for A&M.
That's his 3rd runner in the lane. John Lucas has 6 points, and you're right, he's beginning to feel it, Paul. He really understands the game of basketball.
He has developed into this leader for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, even though it's his first year in a Cowboy uniform. Of course, came in with all kinds of experience, but quickly accepted by his teammates. He has been the difference maker on that Cowboy club.
Well, Joey Graham had almost a clean steal there, but kicked it out of bounds. Garcia Morales and Marcus Watkins in for A&M now.
John Lucas's 3rd basket of the day. All 3 of them look very similar. Find a way to get it into the mid-paint areas, see how the Aggies react defensively, and let your play take over from there.
He's made 3 of those little runners in the lane. Makes it look deceptively easy.
Some of the little guys don't want to get in there with their bigger bodies. They just hang around out on the perimeter, but Lucas has never been that way.
No, and when you're John Lucas size in Division I basketball, that's all there is out there is bigger bodies in the lane. And now a travel call, A&M turns it over. It could be that Oklahoma State now is starting to get a little momentum going in this thing. That's the 5th turnover charge to A&M, and now Nick Anderson will come back for A&M. Jesse King to the bench.
Well, if the Cowboys play their game, they should be in good shape here this afternoon. A&M has to find a way to keep them from playing their game. So far, they've taken the transition game away.
Back in the zone defense, A&M and Tony Allen a little short with a try. Joey Graham tried to dig it out of there. A&M had it, lost it. Out of bounds.
Ball hit the rim, so that would be a fresh 35 seconds for the Cowboys. A&M's done a nice job of switching their defense. Zone, man-to-man, now back to the zone, trying to slow down Oklahoma State, force them to stop and take a look.
They try to get it to Lucas out of the corner. Sean Sutton, Eddie Sutton's son, calling the inbounds play for the Cowboys now. Genava Witherspoon will throw it inbounds to Tony Allen. Garcia Morales over the back of Lucas, knocks it away out of bounds.
Garcia Morales now back to 100% for Texas A&M. 2 weeks ago, he was bothered by a stomach virus that held him down for 3 consecutive games.
Cowboys working their 3rd inbounds play in this possession now.
Talk about Sean Sutton calling the play. Eddie Sutton delegates a lot of the authority to his coaching staff. Eddie Sutton and Cyprian, James Dickey.
Long lob. Oh!
That might be the spark that the Cowboys were looking for. The folks are on their feet here at Gallagher-Iba.
8-0 run for Oklahoma State. They are up by 8. And that might be the igniter, as Paul just said. Listen to the crowd. A&M wants to talk about it. A foul on A&M. And they are going to get a timeout here. Oklahoma State, Lucas threw that lob, and Tony Allen almost had to come down to get it. He was so high. 17-9. Oklahoma State again timeout. 7:52 left in our first half. We'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66. 66, the performance brand. Cowboys in front here, 17-9, 7:52 left in our first half. And they may have had the igniter just a couple of moments ago. And here it is.
Brett, it always seems like the Cowboys have the kind of players that can put on the spectacular. And this one, the high lob from way out for John Lucas. Tony Allen up there where very few guys are going to be able to go contest that shot. Media timeout actually came at a good time for Texas A&M. Oklahoma State on an 8-0 run. A&M's only hit 2 of their last 12 shots.
Oklahoma State turns it over for the 5th time. They lead 17-9. They got off to a slow start here today. A&M playing very tough defense against them and very deliberate offense. Now A.C. Law back in, replacing Bobby Leach at a guard for the Aggies.
Texas A&M shot just 17% in the first half in midweek at Oklahoma. 33% in the ballgame. They were 0 from 9 from three-point range. Not looking for the three-point shot here this afternoon. Looking to go inside early on.
Interesting thing in athletics, Paul, you come out on a day like today where Oklahoma State needs a win to get the conference championship outright against a team that hasn't won a game. Seemingly to the fans it would be an easy day. Usually it doesn't turn out that way.
Well, if the team will come out and prepare and set up a game plan and execute that game plan, there's usually a chance to win a game if you do things right with your team.
Andy Slocum whistled for a personal foul on the rebound attempt of a missed shot.
Slocum works the offensive boards pretty hard. He'll get some fouls in there.
Number 20, Daniel Bobby.
7-11 left in our first half. Oklahoma State with the ball and the 8-point lead. And let's take a moment now to thank our Big 12 corporate partner, Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? Janava Weatherspoon. The senior knocking the free throw down. The 6'1 senior again from Camden, Delaware. Loves to fish, loves to hunt, loves to camp out. A lot of that going on around Stillwater, Oklahoma.
And likes to shoot free throws. 73% of the season coming into play today.
Pretty good at it. Again, 9 of his family members were able to drive here from Delaware to see him here on Seniors Day. Hadn't seen him play in Division I basketball. Nice thing to have happen to the young man.
Unfortunately for the Big 12, the Big Monday goes coast to coast, so at least you get the shot there. Oklahoma State has been a frequent team on Big Monday.
Weatherspoon had to make an adjustment when he got here. He had to learn how to play off the bench. He averaged 24 a game his last year in junior college. A.C. Law, good defense there. Weatherspoon. Nick Anderson gets up a tough shot and a foul call. Ivan McFarland doesn't think so. Neither does Eddie Sutton. Now Eddie Sutton talking to Ivan McFarland.
This is not the style of ball game that the Cowboys want to play. They want a frantic pace. They want it up and down the floor. Texas A&M has got the tempo the way they want it. Now they've got to hit some shots. That was a good possession right there. That shot went up with about 2 seconds left in the shot clock.
I mentioned Eddie Sutton, his 34th year as a head coach. Nick Anderson knocks the free throw down. Eddie Sutton 4 times has been the national coach of the year. 7 times the conference coach of the year. First A&M points for a long time here since 4:03 played in the game. Now it's 19-10. Oklahoma State. Now we've got another foul call.
Texas
Eddie
A&M.
Sutton doesn't think so.
A&M was able to get to the offensive glass that time. Didn't make the head man from OSU very happy.
The old coach wasn't happy with that call, and now we've got another one. 3 straight whistles with the clock not moving, and Eddie Sutton now wondering what's going on. And James Dickey, who's very mild-mannered, is up right beside him, and so is his son, Sean Sutton.
I think we're seeing Oklahoma State lose some of their poise, even though they're a veteran team out there. This game's been going on for a while, and Texas A&M still dictating tempo.
Tony Allen just got his second foul. And now from the deep corner, the ball off the top of the board. Look at Weatherspoon get it up court in a hurry. He can leap and hang and get it.
Brett, he's the type of guy can go out on a full court break and still take it to the basket even though he doesn't have numbers, because it's probably going to be a guard matched up against him. He'll get up over the top of every guard in this league.
And after all that, Oklahoma State leads by 11. They're up 21-10. A&M having difficulty finding good shots and points. AC Law looks it over. Slocum in the lane. Little spinning fadeaway. Won't get it. And the battle for the rebound won by AC Law, who gets it back and scores his fourth point.
All the things that A&M hasn't done this year, offensive rebound has not been one of their problems. They're second in this conference in offensive boards this season.
Getting 17 a game. McFarland trying to find some room in there. Now Bobick operating at the point with Lucas out of the game for a moment. Tony Allen created that one on the rim. Won't go. McFarland won't get that one. Got it back. And a foul against A&M. McFarland to stand with it. He's a senior too, Paul. He's already graduated, in fact. But he has another year of eligibility, and he will come back next year. He's quite a story.
That zone defense that time took the dribble drive away from the Cowboys, but it didn't take the offensive rebound. McFarland doing a good job of working the backside of that zone, finding the open seam to get the inside position.
McFarland, a 6'8". I mentioned a senior already in graduate school from Missouri City, Texas. Short with that try. Let's take a moment now to thank our Big 12 corporate partners, 7-Up, and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours. Crawford and Bobick sit down now. Lucas is back in the game. Ivan McFarland, short with a try.
Looked like the same shot.
Yep.
Short and to the right.
Yep. Oklahoma State of late has been a good free-throwing team, but not so today. Antoine Wright, 21-12, Oklahoma State. 5:17 left in the first half.
Oklahoma State now straight up man-to-man, not looking to trap all that much.
AC Law, on the wing it goes to Antoine Wright. Tony Allen with him. Comes out to pressure him a little bit. Now AC Law, 5 on the shot clock, and they're a long way from the bucket. AC Law, a wild shot going up. Off the rim, no good. Huge rebound for Slocum. That one won't fall. And now McFarland digs it out of there to Tony Allen. 5 rebounds for McFarland now, or Tony Allen. Now Lucas. Joey Graham. Working at it, can't get the shot in there. Now Allen down low to Graham. Joey Graham is fouled. The shot won't fall.
A&M really packed it in that time, and the Cowboys still found a way to get it into the low blocks.
Andy Slocum, second foul. Joey Graham to the line. 6'7" junior from Brandon, Florida. Ted Owens, the former KU coach, is here watching the game today, lives in Tulsa. He was a coach at St. Leo in Florida, and the Graham boys lived 3 miles from the school. And he saw him play a lot. Let's take a moment to tell you now that it's time for the GMC Professional Grade Player Profile. I'll finish that story in a moment. Desmond Mason playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now Graham misses the free throw, but anyway, there's 2 kids, the brothers, the twins, the Graham boys, started playing Central Florida. They wanted to transfer, and Ted Owens brought them up here after having worked with them for a long time. Took them on some visits to various Big 12 schools, and they picked Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State's done a really good job of getting transfer players in from other Division I programs. A number of those transfers paying off big dividends this year.
AC Law now right. 4 to shoot. Wright with a tough shot. Fade away to won't go. Missed it all. And you see Weatherspoon get up and get that rebound. Here they come on the break. The dish to Tony Allen. And the bucket.
Great discipline by Weatherspoon. Very patient as he hustled into the offensive end.
Timeout taken here with 3:50 left in the first half. And Oklahoma State has doubled it here. 24-12. They lead A&M, and A&M, who had trouble scoring down at Oklahoma Wednesday night, like they never got it going, having a more difficult time here. With 3:50 to go in the first half, the Aggies have only 12 points.
Now Witherspoon getting his first collegiate start here this afternoon with the home folks and family in the house. Outraces everybody down the floor. This play does not develop for him early on. Look how far he is into the lane before he gives the dish. Cowboys didn't spread the floor very well all that time, but he's able to find Tony Allen for the finish. could have rushed that pass and probably would have had a bad pass, but he waited for the defense to fall back, let the play unfold in front of you. Good read by Weatherspoon.
Yeah, when you look at this game, Paul, A&M with only 12 points, 3:50 left in the half, but they're only 12 points down. Oklahoma State's not able to knock them out of this thing. A reminder that the Phillips 66 women's basketball tournament is March 9th, 13th at Reunion Arena in Dallas. On those dates, plan to see both the men's tournament at American Airlines Center as well as the women's tournament. Brought to you by Phillips 66. They're a longtime supporter of Big 12 men's and women's basketball.
Melvin Watkins has seen his team execute their game plan for it, but sooner or later you got to hit some shots. Texas A&M is just 4 of 19 from the floor and take their last 2 possessions. Shot clock is inside 5, but they take a wild shot. One in front of the OSU bench, and the other one is falling out of bounds in short corner on the baseline. Neither one of them the kind of shots you want. Got to be able to run your offense maybe a little harder inside the last 10 seconds to get a good shot. You got the tempo the way you've won.
10 on the shot clock. Down the lane, Antoine Wright dishes to Nick Anderson, and the shot down.
And that time they got it done. They worked the shot clock, but got a good shot at the end. You got to be able to finish the deal. Don't just set it up and work it, execute it. You got to be able to close it.
Well, Paul, it's pretty simple. Adolph Rupp, the legendary Kentucky coach, said one time, basketball is just like war. You have to hit what you're shooting at once in a while, or you lose. Hard to argue with that. Joey Graham to the line. Has missed his 2 free throw attempts today, has 2 points.
Oklahoma State just 4 of 7 from the line so far here this afternoon.
That was the 3rd foul, by the way, on Andy Slocum, who has fouled out of only 1 game this year. He's kind of prone to foul problems, but he's able to stay in games, and now there's some discussion.
I think there's some blood on the basketball, and they're looking around to see who's got it.
And the guy that got it is the shooter, Joey Graham, and he's going to go over, see if they can get it cleaned off of him. So the play has stopped here with 3:07 left in the first half. And the Oklahoma State trainer, Murphy Grant, is working on the uniform of Joey Graham, trying to get the blood off of him so he can stay in the game. Got the gloves on, and that's a rule, too. You have to wear those gloves to do it. Eddie Sutton taking advantage of the time to talk to some of his players. He's talked to Jason Miller, and we're telling Jason, go tell somebody something. And their discussion continues. Eddie Sutton.
Melvin Watkins doing the same thing. Has his team circled around him. He'll want to set things up for the next couple minutes.
There's Melvin. Well, you mentioned how he has conducted himself. He's a gentleman in every sense of the word, and a competitor. And he's fought and fought and fought for his club, even though they haven't won a game. Now Joey Graham back out will shoot the free throw. And after all that, he came out and very coolly made it. The 6'7" junior from Brandon, Florida. His twin brother Stephen on this team. I mentioned the story earlier about Ted Owens. Met them as youngsters down in Florida. When they wanted to transfer from Central Florida, brought them up here. Introduced them to a lot of people. Got them both. Timeout. 3:07 left in our first half. Cowboys by a dozen. Don't go away. All right, thank you, Doug. Hard to figure out where the balance of power is in college basketball right now. It's so spread out across the country. There's really parity in the game right now.
Fred, it's games like that that makes you a little concerned about filling out your brackets when you get to the NCAA.
Hey, you're right. You look at teams you think Duke has struggled a little bit late. Pitt's lost a couple late. Stanford,
Oklahoma State cannot lose Texas A&M, even though they shoot 50%. Shot 59% earlier this year at College Station.
Cowboys have methodically built a 12-point lead here with 2:47 left in the first half. We haven't seen the explosion out of them we expected, and now foul at the other end. That was Luis Clemente called for the foul.
A little moving pick. He locked Daniel Bobick to the floor that time, trying to free up Antoine White. Check out the pick over here on the left side of your screen. Number 11 there steps out. There's a little knee into Bobick.
Lucas, Steve Graham. Lucas, penetration. Now Bobick. Miller at the top of the circle. A&M really moving the defense, and now from the deep corner, Lucas a miss. AC Law the board. And after all this, the Aggies are still around. They're only down by a dozen, 2:18 left in the first half. If they get a little burst here at the end of the half, they could be very much in the ballgame. Eddie Sutton shaking his head over there like, we're just not playing that well.
Well, they can't get to play their game. Texas A&M is playing the kind of game that they want to. They have won the battle of tempo. Oklahoma State's won the battle of shooting here in the first half.
You know what? If A&M finishes this game with a loss and they wind up 0-16 on the year, and there's a bucket from Antoine Wright, I would have to ask you this question. Has there ever been an 0-16 team that was harder to beat?
I don't think you want to be compared to an 0-16 team.
I don't think you do either, but this team has lost all these games, and they're really tough to beat. Now a foul on the Yankees at the other end. On Clemente is second.
Well, they led at halftime in 5 of their Big 12 games. Led in the second half in 9 of their Big 12 games. Actually made a little run at Oklahoma in midweek.
Yeah.
Got it back to about 10 or 11 point spread in that one, only to fall back and lose.
And like that game today, they can't get any points on the board. They have only 16 points now with 1:44 left in the game. Joey Graham now has 5 points in this thing. The fewest points A&M has scored this year is 52 in a game. They're going to have to go some today to get there. Graham trying to make it a 12-point lead, and does for the Cowboys as we approach halftime here. A&M trying to win it outright, or trying to prevent, I should say, Oklahoma State from winning it outright. At one time, Oklahoma was A&M. Now they are the Cowboys.
It was 40 years ago today that Oklahoma State beat Kansas in Lawrence to win it outright. Back in the 64-65 season.
Mr. Iba was the coach. He coached Eddie Sutton among a lot of other great players down here. Nick Anderson got himself some room, couldn't make the shot, and a tangle for the rebound. Bill Kennedy, an official, talking to Joey Graham and Ivan McFarland. Eddie Sutton talking to an official on the far side. That's a pretty good tangle for the basketball down there. And A&M is going to have the ball.
Nick Anderson giving A&M a lot better minutes here this afternoon than what he did at Oklahoma in midweek. Didn't have any points in that ball game, just a couple boards.
AC Law in the lane, couldn't get a shot up, made a pass, and the ball goes out of bounds. With 31 seconds left on the shot clock. Coming up at halftime, we'll talk about Tech cruising today. Upsets in the Big East and the rivalry, KU and Missouri. Tomorrow in Columbia, they close out the Hearn Center. That should be someday in Columbia tomorrow afternoon. Columbia will be the scene of Missouri fighting to keep alive their hopes in the NCAA tournament. Kansas would appear to be a lock. Boy, there's so much to speculate about in terms of who goes, who doesn't. How many from the Big 12 will go? Antoine Wright with a miss. Joey Graham, or rather, Stephen Graham with a rebound. Lucas to Graham.
Oklahoma State cannot kill the entire first half clock.
Joey Graham. And his brother Stephen knocks down that shot. And now it's a 14-point lead, the biggest of the game so far. Joey Graham with 8 points. AC Law works against Lucas. 19 left in the first half.
The battle for tempo in the first half was won by Texas A&M. The battle on the scoreboard being won right now by Oklahoma State.
7 to shoot. Antoine Wright against Bobby. Got a screen from Clemente. No shot there as McFarland came to help, and now the wild shot up at the gun. Don't go. And we are at halftime, and Oklahoma State with a 30-16 lead with a 21-7 run to end the first half as they go to the locker room. So it's the Cowboys by 14 as they look to lock up an outright Big 12 championship. Half to go here. We've got work to do in Stillwater, but right now let's get you back to Studio 66. Oklahoma State opening their 20 minutes from trophy time here, leading 30-16 over A&M. Let's take a look at the Shelter Insurance first half highlights.
Fred, there were not a lot of offensive highlights. This is the most spectacular play of the first half. The lob from Lucas. Check out Tony Allen coming in along the baseline right here. The pass will be right up here next to the rim. Tony Allen, the only guy in the house that can go get it. Allen, not a big first half, just 4 points in that first half. Shots were hard to come by for Texas A&M. AC Law had the easiest shot of the day as he Works on John Lucas out front. Takes this one all the way to the glass because the Cowboys don't rotate their defense.
For your insurance needs, visit shelterinsurance.com to find a shelter agent near you. Seek shelter today. David Hall about to hand the ball to Daniel Bobby. And again, Oklahoma State up by 14 at halftime. A&M scoring only 16 points in the first half. They managed only 20 points in the first half down at Norman Wednesday night when Oklahoma beat them. So they're having problems scoring. Here they are back in that zone defense. They have given Oklahoma State problems with defense today. That was Allen, lost the ball. Tony Allen had it, lost it. A&M with a chance to score first here in the second half.
And Oklahoma State was 0 of 4 from three-point land, and that's why Tony Allen didn't take that shot right there. Had it wide open from a step behind the stripe or a step or two inside the stripe, but they have struggled shooting in the first half, so wanted to get a better shot.
Antoine Wright to A.C. Law. Only the 6th turnover for Oklahoma State.
One of the things that A&M did is they avoided the steal. Oklahoma State, one of the top steals team in the league, only one steal in that first 20 minutes. That allowed A&M to hang around.
A.C. Law with a 2-point field goal. First points in the second half belong to Texas A&M.
And I'm sure Eddie Sutton at halftime talked about working against the zone, what the Cowboys need to do. I'm sure we'll see them moving it more side to side, more perimeter passing. And that'll help. Hit a long shot.
First 3 of the game. Lucas just missed one. Now came back to get the second attempt. Biggest lead of the day for the Cowboys. And by 15.
When you're a team like Texas A&M that has struggled defensively, that will make it more difficult to come from behind in a ball game like this, especially when you're trying to slow it down anyhow.
It's been a very methodical day for Oklahoma State. Their crowd really hasn't had many chances to get raucous here today. The Tony Allen dunk in the first half off the Lucas lob gave them one. They got excited then, but mostly it's been a very business-like ball game. Way outside. Antoine Wright throws it off the glass, can't get it. Slapped around out of bounds, and it's Oklahoma State basketball. Here's how they got where they are. 30-16 Oklahoma State. Look at the field goal percentage, just 50% to 25. Free throws belong to Oklahoma State. 3-point field goals. Well, Oklahoma State just got their first one from John Lucas. Lucas, now Bobby. Both of them can shoot it.
Not the kind of first half that the Cowboys wanted because they couldn't go up and down the floor. Not the kind of first half A&M wanted. You've got to shoot it better than 25% if you have a chance to win.
Lucas just did knock down his second straight tray. Now they doubled it, 36-18. And the crowd beginning to make a little bit of noise here in Gallagher-Iba.
And this big deficit may force Texas A&M out of what they've wanted to do as far as letting the air out of the ball. They may have to pick up the tempo on the offensive end, try to get more possessions between now and the end.
A.C. Law down low, Andy Slocum, and a goaltending call. Joey Graham went up and got it, give Andy Slocum 2 points, his first 2 points of the day.
Andy Slocum has a height advantage inside, so if A&M can get the ball to him on the low blocks, he might be able to do some good against the smaller Ivan McFarland, who's in at 6'8".
Glenn Cyprian, one of the Oklahoma State assistants, holding up signs from the bench, calling out the offensive sets. And there's a ball kicked away out of bounds. It belongs to Oklahoma State under their basket with 19 left on the shot clock. There's Glenn Cyprian. He's been holding up the signs, calling out the offensive sets they want them in. Allen, 9 on the shot clock. Lucas way outside with it.
Now man-to-man defense by A&M.
Oh, Lucas with his 4th shot like that today. Little runners in the lane. He has 14 points, 18-point lead to the Cowboys.
When he gets in the middle of the paint, Fred, you see how A&M is looking for the pass from Lucas. They're looking for the pass first. That's why he's had those open shots on the runner.
You know, his dad was a great NBA player, Nick Anderson, with the bucket there. And I'm going to bet you, Paul, that he learned to shoot that little runner shooting it over his dad.
Well, you got to have the soft touch. You're a high flyer headed into the middle of the lane, playing fast, shooting it soft.
Again, that shot so much tougher than it looks, and we have a timeout here. 38-22, Oklahoma State 16-14 left to play, and we'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66. 38-22, Oklahoma State up by 16 with 16-14 to play. John Lucas got it going here in the second half with a pair of threes and a 2-point field goal to spark Oklahoma State to a bit of a run here. They were up by 14 at halftime, only 16 now, but they look like they have more energy. Tony Allen, now Daniel Bobby. Allen back to Bobby.
Oklahoma State not looking to go inside this much in the second half against this zone defense. Looking to pass it around on the perimeter, but getting better ball movement side to side.
Tony Allen flashes to the bucket with the left hand, won't knock it down. And Slocum with the rebound for Texas A&M.
And for A&M to get back into this thing, they have to hope that Oklahoma State will start missing some of the better shots that they've been getting.
And they'll have to start playing at a faster pace than they've been wanting to all day. They've done a good job, Paul, of keeping themselves in this ball game.
Well, the margin of error was not great for the Aggies coming into this if they were going to hope to win it, but it's even less now, trailing by 16 points. Now everything has to go their way. Got to get good looks on the offensive end, take care of the basketball, get some breaks on the defensive end.
Nick Anderson to the bucket with a tough shot.
And Eddie Sutton not happy that. He's already headed down the Oklahoma State bench looking for a substitute. Got to shut off that drive. You can't take it to the front edge of the rim without somebody contesting the shot.
He's going to get Janava Weatherspoon, a senior guard, in the ball game. 15:05 to play. In the middle, it went to McFarland. There was a shot, and he didn't realize it until too late. Now Bobby. Now Tony Allen. A&M in that zone, and they're making it tough. 10 left on the shot clock.
Oklahoma State's been able to get the ball into the middle.
Lucas pulls up from the top of the circle. That's a three with 3 seconds left on the clock, and John Lucas has it working.
And he is in rhythm right now. 3 consecutive long-range shots that he has drilled for Oklahoma State, and they spread their lead.
He has 17. Well, you get a pretty good argument in Stillwater over who's the player of the year. Tony Allen, John Lucas.
Well, when you have the kind of year that they've had, that's not unusual. Not a one-man team. They move the basketball around, play well as a team.
At the other end, whoa, Joey Graham got hammered. The ball slapped out of bounds. And timeout here with 14:14 to play. 41-26. Oklahoma State. 14 minutes till trophy time, and a 15-point lead to Oklahoma State.
Three-point shooting has been a factor in this half for Oklahoma State. They were 0 for 4 at the break, but John Lucas has caught fire here early in the second half. He's hit 3 of 4 in this half now. The Oklahoma State Cowboys have a presence on the perimeter.
Shooting the Rock is brought to you by Rock Greenlight, a low-carb premium light lager with only 2.4 grams of carbs. Well, Cowboys fans came here looking for a win today. It looks like they're going to get it. If they came looking for a work of art, probably not. It's been very methodical. 11 points now for Joey Graham. They've had to work hard at it. A&M probably not going to win this game, but they have really made Oklahoma State work at it.
Joey Graham is not one of the names that you first hear about with the Oklahoma State Cowboys, but this is a kid that has quietly put some things together for the Cowboys that have made them a solid team at every position in their starting lineup.
There's a travel call. John Lucas trying to get Weatherspoon up court to help. He takes the inbounds pass, and Lucas goes to the baseline to see what they're going to run here.
Weatherspoon runs the point for this team quite a bit. When Lucas is normally on the bench, he's out front handling the basketball. It was going to be the starting point guard for the Cowboys if Lucas had not transferred to Stillwater.
Weatherspoon off the glass, not there. And the rebound. Ball goes out of bounds, belongs to A&M. Oklahoma State coming in here 23-3. 13-2 in the conference with a one-game lead over Texas, and a win here for Oklahoma State gives them the championship outright. That's what they want. It's been a long time since they've had one, 40 years to be exact.
You know, a game like this could really help Oklahoma State when you get into postseason play. You never know when you're going to run into a team in the tournament that's going to have the deliberate style where you'd be forced to play a half-court game where you've been forced to this afternoon.
Shot got on top of the glass. Will be out of bounds to Oklahoma State. Eddie Sutton talking to Tony Allen about what he wants them to do here. Weatherspoon off the right side of the circle. Almost had a shot. Didn't get it off in time. Now Allen. Jumper.
He can do it all. Quick on the dribble to the glass, quick on the pull-up jumper. That time he took it over the Antoine Wright, who's in there at 6'7". He's quite a bit taller than Tony Allen.
Great story in the Stillwater paper this morning about what a transformation Tony Allen has made in his life. He's become a very good student. He's going to graduate on time. All three of the seniors here will graduate on time. Antoine Wright now fouled by Joey Graham down on the baseline. Ivan McFarland is a fourth senior. He's already graduated.
Well, Fred, that's the neat thing about this. The opportunities, and see a young man capitalize on that opportunity. I've heard a lot of players say, use the ball as an opportunity. Use it to get an education. Use it to develop your life. Tony Allen's done that here in Stillwater.
Their academic counselor down here has done quite a job with him, and she says to Tony Allen once in a while, how's it feel to be smart, Tony? He's carrying a 3-point plus, grade point average. His answer is it feels great. Now let's take a moment to thank our Big 12 corporate partner, Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. Wright's free throw won't fall. Tony Allen hard on the left side, and now a foul before he can get a shot away. The foul on the floor against Texas A&M. Antoine Wright. First on Antoine Wright. Crowd very quiet here right now, kind of murmuring.
For an entire ball game, I think this is about as quiet as I've ever heard Gallagher Ivan.
It really is. Joey Graham knocks it down. He has 13 points.
And there's a guy you don't hear a whole lot about. He would probably be the last guy you'd hear about in the starting five, but continually doing more and more different things to help his ball club. Now starting to add some range to his shooting game.
Not unlike Tony Allen as a player, is he?
Well, Tony Allen had a big splash early on because he was a terrific offensive surprise for Oklahoma State.
Bobby Leach gets his first 2 points. Only 3 Texas A&M players had scored up to then. Lucas on the floor in the lane. We've got a timeout here. 11:48 left in this ball game. 48-29. Oklahoma State leading Texas A&M.
Fred and split, guys.
All right, thank you, Doug and Matt. That Bartow is a pretty good basketball name, and I know you're very familiar with one of them, with Murray's uncle.
Yeah, they've got a lot of basketball in their family. When they have a family reunion, that's what they're working on, is basketball.
Murray's dad, Gene, longtime outstanding coach.
Both teams shooting it better here in the second half, Fred. Texas A&M 6 of 8, 75%, but which happens to them so many times. Oklahoma State now is shooting better than 70%. They are now 8 of 11 here in the second half. So A&M shooting it better, but not getting stops on the defensive end.
Look at the three-point shooting second half. Oklahoma State for 5. John Lucas got that one rolling in a hurry. Start of the second half. Tony Allen just got a bucket. Now Antoine Wright is fouled as he tries to find a shot in the lane.
That's been a good matchup all afternoon. Wright working against Tony Allen.
First foul on Daniel Bobick. Whataburger, just like you like it. Sounds pretty good, too, right now. 50-29. Oklahoma State leading. 11:15 left in the first half.
Whataburger, that might be us on the way home.
Could be. Could be. Daniel Bobick had it knocked loose, and there's a struggle for it. And boy, Allen and Antoine Wright hit the deck. And I think they're kind of smiling at one another right now, and Antoine Wright's going to help Allen up. Allen asking, what was called? I was too busy to find it.
Now players losing their balance right there. The scrum is on for the Rock.
50-29, Oklahoma State. A&M gets the basketball after the little ball with both players holding on to the basketball there. Antoine Wright against Tony Allen. A couple pretty good players going at it right there. And Wright finds a long try that won't go. Slocum, big, strong rebound. Got it back up, couldn't score. Weatherspoon corrals it. Here he comes on the run, and he's fouled. Up by midcourt by Kevin Turner. The first on Turner. 10:47 to play in Stillwater. The Big 12 championship trophy is here.
Melvin Watkins frustrated with his team. They've done a lot of good things here this afternoon, Fred, but just cannot complete the deal. Take that last possession as an example. Antoine Wright, nice crossover dribble. Cannot bury the wide open shot. Slocum doing what he does best, the offensive glass. He's got it from right next to the rim. He can't get it down. 2 good looks at the basket for A&M. Just can't close the deal.
Antoine Wright will take a breather. Marcus Watkins in to replace him for Texas A&M. Whoa. Slipping and going down hard. Tony Allen. Excuse me, Stephen Graham. It wasn't Allen. Stephen Graham. Feet flew off underneath him, and he hit the deck hard.
Stevie Graham's game is a whole lot like Tony Allen's. He might be the replacement for Tony when he leaves campus in May.
Gary Graham, let me clarify something. We're talking about Murray Bartow. His dad, Gene, his uncle, is part of your community in Blue Springs, Missouri. School principal back there.
The Bartows run basketball camps in Lexington, or did for many years, for the area kids.
Murray's dad, Gene, was a terrific basketball coach. Illinois, UCLA, UAB, among other places. Stephen Graham. Joey missed the shot. Terrence Crawford pulls it back for him. Now Stephen Graham on the dribble with it with a new shot clock.
He doesn't take many threes. He's just 2 of 12 this year from three-point range. The reason he didn't pull up and take that wide open shot. Pretty good here, though.
Taking it down the lane and got the bucket. Stephen Graham. He worked for that 2 points, his first 2 of the game, and the crowd loves it. Now all of a sudden they're getting excited in Stillwater. 9:50 to trophy time, and the Cowboys leading by 23. 30-second timeout. Both coaches will talk to their club. Watch Stephen Graham work.
Well, he kept the dribble alive, Fred. Didn't want the long-range shot. He's a big kid at 6'6", who loves to get out and run the floor. He's a slashing-type player. We saw a lot of his game right there. Likes to take it to the glass. Get out and challenge him on the perimeter. You better be ready to slide your feet to take away that drive.
No assist there, but let's take a look at our assist leaders. Brought to you by Cargill. Collaborate, create, and succeed. 2 for Antoine Wright, 4 for Graham.
In the first half, Oklahoma State had 6 assists in their first 10 field goals. That's kind of typical, about 60 to 70% for the Cowboys, the way they run their offense.
And with 9:49 to play, the Cowboys leading A&M 52-29. Capacity crowd here in Stillwater today. A couple of years ago, they remodeled this arena and increased the seating capacity. There's the Cowboy run over the last 3.5 minutes. A&M with a basketball. Leach going to work against Renata Weatherspoon.
Arena now holds right at 13,600. There's so much orange in this building between the seats and the fans. You can't tell which seats are full and which ones aren't.
Foul is called. A&M will go to the line here. Bobbick's second foul.
And the orange really stands out.
Boy, doesn't it, though? And up at the top, they have luxury boxes now that look out on the other side over the football stadium. Another whistle. And a foul. That time Kevin Turner got whistled for his second. So Oklahoma State gets it back. 9:33 to play. They lead by 23. They have been in front all day. Texas A&M has never had the lead. Stephen Graham, Bobby.
A&M back in that zone defense.
Crawford shovels it inside. Jason Miller fouled, missed the shot. Nick Anderson whistled for the foul. Second personal foul on Nick Anderson. Team foul number 6 on A&M in the second half. Only 3 have been whistled on Oklahoma State. Miller will shoot a couple. First one is no good. A limited number of tickets to the Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Tournament are now on sale at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. To order tickets online, go to www.big12sports.com. Click on the tournament link and order your tickets today. It should be one of the most competitive tournaments in Big 12 history. That's www.big12sports.com. Bobby nailed the tray after the 2 missed free throws.
Fred, it's Seniors Day. The 3 seniors honored here for Oklahoma State. Certainly you want it to be their day. And as a junior, you feel you're going to do everything you can to make it a memorable one for them. Bobbick will be back next year. Just buried the long 3, picking up the seniors after Miller missed the free throws.
Tough basket from Keith Wines right there. Speaking of juniors, next year, Oklahoma State will have a bunch.
Now they're going to have, what, 6 seniors next year?
I think seniors. Yeah, the juniors this year.
Lucas,
well,
Bobbitt, Graham, McFarland we got.
McFarland actually in
Graham.
grad school.
Terrence Crawford will be a senior next year. Franz Stain will be a senior.
That's a lot. Now Lucas will return to the Cowboy lineup.
In fact, that could be a problem for Oklahoma State the following year. Remember, they can only give out 5 scholarships in 1 year. 5 over a year, 8 over 2 years.
Keith Blanks made the bucket. It won't count. He was fouled before he got the shot away. There's your scoring time. Senior list, A&M. Half dozen of them here. Oklahoma State with 3, 4 counting Ivan McFarland. But again, we've talked about it. He'll be back next year. He has graduated already. He's in grad school here, but has another year of eligibility.
A&M will have some scholarships to give away next year. They lose 6 seniors. They can give away 5 grants next season.
Keith Blanks to miss. Rebound. Taken down by Stephen Graham.
In fact, when you lose players like that off a losing team, you say, well, now there's an opportunity for a coach to go out and get some better players. Get the recruiting trails hard. You've got some flexibility there.
Jason Miller tried to get it low to Terrence Crawford. It was knocked away. It will be a 1-on-1 opportunity here. Terrence Crawford, a 6'6" junior from down the road in Oklahoma City, had 2 points in the first half. Has had his problems on the free throw line this year.
He's also had his health problems, had a knee problem earlier this year. In fact, he spent about half the season playing with a heavy brace. Been able to discard the brace as he's steadily gotten healthy.
Knocked that one down. We talked about how quiet the crowd has been in here today. They're just sitting and waiting, hopefully, for their trophy ceremony. It'll happen. But they really haven't been very involved in this game today. 7:51 to play. Timeout here. 57-31. Oklahoma State leading A&M, and we will be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66. All right, thank you, Doug. Marquette made that great run last year to the Final Four. Hasn't been quite the same sort of a year for them this year. Here, Oklahoma State bearing down on the outright championship, leading 57-31, 7:39 to play. Bobby Leach to the baseline. Blanks may have turned down a shot. Jason Miller was coming out to get him. Now it's Kevin Turner with a tough shot. Got a bump, created a little room in there, and knocked the shot down.
Fred, when you get to this time of year and a team that is down by Texas A&M, you find a lot about the character of your individuals. You want to know that about your younger players because these are the guys you want to build around. Got to find out in times like this, can we build around this guy? Do we need to go looking somewhere else?
Saw Oklahoma State with that great second half shooting, and this guy's led the charge. John Lucas with his 4th tray in the second half. 20 points in the ballgame now for John Lucas.
He is so locked in, Fred. He had Antoine Wright running at him that time trying to close out that shot. I'm sure he never saw Wright. The only thing he saw was the edge of the rim.
Another shot from corner for Kevin Turner. And he has 5 points in the ballgame now. Tell you what, Oklahoma State has that shooting percentage for the game up to 58%. They started this game with the 3rd best shooting percentage in history here at Oklahoma State. They may have upped that enough today to be the best. Great work there from Terrence Crawford. He has 6 points.
When you get this late in the year, it takes terrific shooting percentage to move it a whole lot.
They only had to move it 1/10 of a percentage point, though I'm not sure they've done it, but they may have. Keith Blanks working against Miller, takes it into circle, dumps it off. Kevin Turner at the baseline, tough shot, won't fall. And Kevin Turner trying to chase it down in backcourt. It's out of bounds to A&M. 5:58 to play. Crawford coming out of the ball game now. Gave him a couple of good solid minutes there. 5:55 till trophy time for Oklahoma State. They lead 62-35. Blanks going to work against Franz Stain, who just came into the ball game. Stain is 7'2", big fella. He can't get the shot. Turner knocks it down.
Turner's a pretty good shooter. This is a kid that has scored points from long range throughout the course of this season. 55 to 60% of his shots are from three-point range. Just buried a long one there.
Turner now with 7 points. And the Oklahoma State coaches, quite a staff they are, talking to Stephen Graham. And I'm sure they're talking about the defensive end of the floor. They don't miss anything.
Well, they know the scouting report right there, and they want to make sure that all the players on the floor not only play with their feet and their heart, but also play with their heads. Cover the long-range shooters.
Phillips 66 is proud to be presenting sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Be sure to stop by your local Phillips 66 station and fill up with quality Pro Clean gasoline only from Phillips 66, their performance brand. 24-point lead to the Cowboys, 5:33 to play. It has been a relatively quiet day here in Calico-Iba. The crowd hasn't had all that much to get excited about, even though their team has a very big win going.
Fred, you put it pretty well. They've kind of methodically stepped out away from the A&M Aggies.
Crowd saving their enthusiasm for the trophy ceremony. Lucas against Keith Blanks. Mishandled by Graham, but he's able to save it. Puts it on the floor in the lane. Over to Tony Allen. Shot no. Stain had it. Couldn't hold it. And Blanks brings it back. Going hard to the baseline. Kicks it back outside. Antoine Wright takes it in the lane. The shot no good, but he's fouled. Fifteen foul in Oklahoma State. Ron Stain's first foul. Stain, a 7'2" junior from Pretoria, South Africa. Came to this country, he's a rugby player, but he wanted to learn how to play basketball. So he came to this country to do just exactly that. Stephen Graham out, Janaba Weatherspoon in. Antoine Wright, just a sophomore, has a lot of basketball ahead of him in this conference. Weatherspoon grabbed the rebound.
Antoine Wright has not had a good shooting day this afternoon for Texas A&M. Tony Allen, one of the reasons why. They've been matched up on each other all day.
Stain fouled from behind by Antoine Wright.
All I know is I don't want to be the guy between Franz Stain and the rim.
I was thinking, watching him, if you didn't know anything about this team, you came out and he came out to warm up, you'd be thinking, oh, Lord, look at him.
Well, he's out there at 7'2" and a little better than 300 pounds. When they run their sprints, he gets out and runs with the guards.
He can do it.
I don't know how they keep the football coach away from him.
I don't either. Can you imagine him on the line of scrimmage? Or a defensive end
or a tackle?
He played a lot of rugby in South Africa. Crowd loves it. He knocked down a free throw. His second make of the year. He's 2 for 10 at the free throw line. We'd love to see him have some success.
He doesn't want to get out on the floor and pressure this guy. Lay back and block his shot. And get some help defensively.
They double team Blanks, knocked the shot down. Lucas Allen puts it on the floor. Throws it to Miller. Weatherspoon on the baseline. Takes it inside, hangs and missed the shot, but he gets fouled with 4:21 to play.
Weatherspoon, a terrific athlete, has a 45-inch vertical jump.
Time now for the Cooper Tire Defensive Player of the game. Tony Allen did a good job early of shadowing Antoine Wright. He's just a good all-round player.
That's one of the adjustments you have to make when you come to Oklahoma State. If you have been a scorer, you better learn how to play some defense, or you won't be on the floor a whole lot.
Not for Eddie Sutton, you won't. Weatherspoon with a miss. He hit 9 of his last 10 free throws. Got another one coming now. Sitting down, Keith Blanks and Marcus Watkins. Weatherspoon to try it again. In and out. Look at Stain. Right there to block it, though, was Marlon Pompey for A&M, and a foul called. Franz Stain.
Well, I just mentioned you don't want to be this guy right here between him and the front edge of the rim, because I don't know that there's a way to keep him out. Everybody's going to give up size and strength to this guy. He's got that second rebounding position and just pushes, who is that, Watkins inside? just pushed him out of the way and got to the rim.
In and out. I mentioned Stain played rugby in South Africa. He also played cricket. What do they call the pitcher in cricket? The bowler? I don't know if he was the bowler or not, but if he cut one loose, it would have to be an impressive sight because they get a run when they throw it down there. They don't have to stand still. Stain.
Don't usually get that bounce off the back iron. 50% shooter from the line here today.
4:10 to play. A&M with the basketball. Bobby Leach had it low to right. Stain got a hand on it, knocked it out of bounds. It'll stay with A&M. 22 on the shot clock for the Aggies. Oklahoma State's going to finish the regular season 24-4, 14-2 in the conference. They will be the #1 seed in the Big 12 tournament. They'll play Friday at noon in Dallas against the winner between the game between seeds 8 and 9. Now whistle's going to stop play. Another foul has been called.
Cowboys got caught in the switch that time. Jason Miller forced to step out on the floor and to defend against the quick ball handler and Antoine Wright. He drew the foul.
Now the shot taken by A.C. Law and another foul call. Tony Allen with his 4th foul. He don't want to foul out. Senior day, he wants to finish the game.
Two-shot foul to the line of one AC Law.
Eddie Sutton sitting over on the bench, hands straight up over your head. How many times have we told you?
A.C. Law to the line. Got it. He has 9 points. Crowd just murmuring in anticipation of the end of this game so they can see their team accept the Big 12 championship trophy. Law got them both. He has 10 points. And Lucas is going to walk it up for the Cowboys.
Cowboys want to keep the clock rolling here. No fouls. Run your offense. Take your time on the offensive end.
Over in front of the bench, Tony Allen was standing there out of bounds, and Eddie Sutton got up and demonstrated.
See, now that's a mistake a senior shouldn't make. You know you're in trouble. Come down the floor on the opposite side of your bench. You know your coach is waiting for you over there.
Stay away. Bobby Leach with the basketball for A&M. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to play. 23-point lead for Oklahoma State. Antoine Wright to miss. And Tony Allen's got it in the middle of a 3-on-3 break. Tried to drop it back and fielded Jason Miller in a foul. Called on A&M. Antoine Wright.
The fans in the building, you talk about this place being quiet. They love to see the Cowboys get out on the break, but they want to see Tony Allen running the wing and getting the finish rather than the dig.
How about the way they finished the Texas game here Monday night with John Lucas leading the lob up there for Joey Graham with a slam dunk to finish it? The crowd was not quiet then. Miller's free throw good. First point for Jason Miller, 6'8" senior from Livingston, Texas. His family on hand for Seniors Day here today. Been a pretty strong player for Oklahoma State. He's got 2. We have timeout, 3:19 to play. 66-41 Cowboys. We'll be back. All right, thank you, Doug. Studio 66 will be there all day doing their usual terrific work as Big 12 basketball unfolds on the last Saturday of the regular season. Tomorrow in Columbia, Kansas and Missouri close down the Hearn Center. Tigers move into their new arena next year. Bobby Leach here for A&M. There will be a trophy presentation at the end of this game here in Stillwater today. Tim Allen, assistant commissioner of the Big 12 Conference, on hand. A.C. Law missed the shot. Lucas fires it up court. Weatherspoon can leap. Oh, he didn't dunk it. He went up and just rolled it over the rim. I thought he was going to get something exciting right there.
Wanted to, but Marlon Pompey was doing the chase down the floor, so Witherspoon was not able to get his steps quite right. You could see the look in his eye. He wanted it. So did everybody in the house.
Clemente. Luis Clemente stolen by Tony Allen. He's got Weatherspoon up there. Tony Allen, with heavy traffic, throws it off the board. Goes to the deck. Shot won't fall. A&M gets the ball back with 2:23 to play. Leach dumps it into the corner. Long try, short by A.C. Law. Leach got the board back. Hands it over to Clemente in the lane. That one won't go. Tony Allen's got it. and left it way up there for Lucas. Almost threw it out of bounds.
Lucas, the leader of this basketball team, wisely pulls it back out with the clock right at 2 minutes. Our boys don't need points right now. They just soon kill a little time.
You know they'd like to set up a lob to somebody, though. A minute 50 to play in the game. 1:49 now. 10 to shoot. Allen on the dribble with it. Working against AC Law, and a 5-second call, and Eddie Sutton can't believe it. He just was beside himself with that call. Look at him over there. And Eddie Sutton, very demonstrative, now wants a timeout. He wants a timeout with a minute 42 to play.
Timeout, Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State now gets the timeout, leading 68-41, and Eddie Sutton really wants to talk to an official.
I think Eddie Sutton is saying that that ball was not out on the floor, that Tony Allen's getting ready to break down the defender to go one-on-one against him. Even though he had lost control of the ball momentarily, the 5 count should not have applied in that situation.
Eddie Sutton, before the ball game, picked up quite an award.
Of the Board of Trustees of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, grandson of Dr. James A. are pleased to honor Oklahoma State.
That's the Naismith Award. Eddie Sutton, only the 31st in history to win that sportsmanship award. It was James Naismith's grandson here to award it to him before the game today. That's some trophy. That thing weighs 80 pounds. Has a couple of peach baskets, replicas of peach baskets on it. Quite an honor for Eddie Sutton, who well deserved it. Back here where he played his college basketball. Clemente off the baseline, no. And the ball out of bounds. It'll be Oklahoma State basketball as they wind it down here. 1:24 to play. Eddie Sutton picked up that sportsmanship award before the game. He has now won championships in 3 different conferences. Stephen Graham. Now Bobbitt coming out of the game. Jason Miller is, coming out of the game with a hug from his coach. Jason Miller winding up his career here in Stillwater, a senior this year. 1 of 3 on senior day. Weatherspoon, Lucas. Weatherspoon, Tony Allen. 2 more seniors on the floor will probably come out to an ovation here. A minute to play. 12 to shoot for Oklahoma State. They have long ago put this game away. Tony Allen, shot won't fall. He's got it back. Dribbling it into the circle, puts up the shot on the rim. Good. So the senior finishing this one up in style.
Got a lot of time with the ball in his hands the last couple of possessions. It's like Oklahoma State wants to feature their seniors here in the last minute.
Stephen Graham will come into the ball game now, probably to replace Tony Allen, and Allen will come out of the game. Tony Allen coming out on Seniors Day, getting a hug from John Lucas and a standing ovation from the crowd. Eddie Sutton greets the senior at the bench. And now out comes Janava Weatherspoon, the other senior. And another handshake and another hug. 39.8 to play. Oklahoma State has put it away. Their seniors have been able to walk off the floor and get ovations. What a wonderful thing.
Well, this is the kind of thing they were hoping for. Maybe not the type of ball game they anticipated, but this is certainly the result that they wanted, and that's the most important thing.
Leach with the miss. Oklahoma State with the ball. Can they find something spectacular to finish this game with? 25 to shoot, 29 to play. The trophy presentation awaits. Oklahoma State will be the Big 12 outright champions when this one comes to an end.
And that's plenty spectacular right there.
That is. 9 to shoot. Lucas with the basketball. Starts the dribble against Dylan Leo. Lucas with a long 3 that won't go. The board to A&M. The game will end with A&M in possession of the basketball. AC Law got it up there and missed it. It's over. And Oklahoma State has won the Big 12 championship outright, defeating A&M 70-41 here in Gallagher, Iowa today. The trophy presentation to go. The handshake at midcourt. 70-41, Oklahoma State the winner in this one today. This ESPN Plus. Handshakes between father and son coaches here. Again, 70-41. Oklahoma State has nailed down the Big 12 championship. Let's get you to Studio 66.
Fred, thank you. We'll get back out to the trophy presentation here momentarily. You know, Matt, back on January 10th, Oklahoma State went to Texas Tech, lost by 21 in the first game of the Big 12 season. Didn't look like they were going to be the champions, but they turned out to be a pretty good team.
They turned around to be a very good team. Great defense, and congratulations to Coach Sutton and his staff.
Yeah, it's always predicated on defense when you talk about Coach Sutton. Speaking now to Larry Reese, the public address announcer in Stillwater, and he has the trophy presentation, first time since 1965 that Oklahoma State outright champs.
Ladies and gentlemen, today you have been a part of history here in Gallagher-Iba Arena. OSU has a long and storied athletic tradition, but believe it or not, it has been 39 years since a Cowboy basketball team has won an outright conference championship, but that ends today. Please join me in welcoming OSU System CEO and President Dr. David Smidley, as well as Athletic Director Harry Birdwell and the Associate Commissioner of the Big 12 Conference, Tim Allen. Dr. Smidley.
Cowboy fans, thank you so much. You're the greatest fans in the Big 12. And now join me in recognizing the best basketball team in the Big 12 and the best coaching staff in the Big 12. And to all these seniors, I want to say, Tony, to every one of you, Spoon, Jason, all of you, thank you for what you've done for this university. You've represented us not only on the court, but the classroom and everything else. We love you guys.
How about them Cowboys? Three things quickly. Number one, you guys are the greatest sixth man in the world. Thank you very much. It was because of your loyal support of these Cowboys that they went through an entire season and protected our home floor undefeated in 2003, 2004. Let me speak academically for a minute. Congratulations to every one of these seniors. They either have or will all graduate. And what's more, this entire team had an average 3-point GPA last semester. And we would be remiss if we did not congratulate individually the greatest coaching staff in America. Glenn Cyprian, Sip's a great man and a great role model. James Dickey, one of the finest guys in all of American basketball. And a guy who earns his spurs every day, our associate head coach, John Sutton. And the mastermind behind the whole deal is the old Silver Fox himself, 748 victories strong, Coach Eddie Sutton.
I appreciate those kind words, Harry, you and Dr. Smidley. I want to echo what they said about our three seniors. They gave us great leadership, and they certainly are going out on a high note. This is something you guys will remember the rest of your lives. And for the rest of the squad, a tremendous year. When we started practice in October, if someone had told me we're 24-3 and 14-2 in conference play, I said, "You've been drinking, or what's wrong with you?" But these guys, you know, I've coached for a long, long time, and it's always hard to compare teams. but I don't believe I've ever been prouder of a basketball team than I am of this ball club. They are really special. And as I've said so many times, too often head coaches are giving too much credit, and I've been blessed through the years with wonderful athletes and some wonderful assistant coaches, but the staff we have at the present time is the best that I've ever been on my staff. So they're great. James, John, Sip. And you know, it's been a wonderful 14 years, this ride, and seeing this great spirit and tradition that we rekindled like it was when I was playing here with Mr. Iba. And a lot of that credit.
As for Oklahoma State, 7th-ranked Cowboys closing out the Big 12 regular season with a home game against Texas A&M. OSU needing a win to lock up their first ever Big 12 title, and what better team to do that against than one that had never won a Big 12 game this year. Things started ugly, though. 13 minutes to go in the first half. Only 4-3 OSU. Let's make that 7-3. Graham to Bobick. That's good. OSU starting to feel their oats. Lucas, the floater, up next, makes it 11-9 OSU. Then, maybe the best play of the first half. Watch the alley and the oop by Tony Allen. Tony with 10 points in this game, 17-9 OSU. It was 30-16 OSU at the break. Second half, Lucas comes alive. 3-ball. Part of 11 straight points scored for OSU by John Lucas. He finished with 20. Joey Graham had a pretty solid effort as well, 3 of his 14 here. OSU goes on for the victory, 70-41. They claim their first outright conference title in almost 40 years.
We've won a lot of championships the years that I've coached, but I'm not sure that any one of them is any more special than this one, because this team has come so far. I mean, they continue to amaze me. If someone had told me, you know, we'd win the conference championship before the season again, I wouldn't have believed it.
Well, more Big 12 fun. Iowa State and Tech in
second half now. A barrage of threes. Shot clock running down. John Lucas, the splash. Then Joey Graham left alone. He says, I'll shoot it, I guess. Triple. And then Daniel Bobick going to get into the act. You get the idea. No contest. The OSU Cowboys are the undisputed Big 12 champions, 70-41. John Lucas, a game-high 20. The Cowboys will be the #1 seed and play at noon on Friday at the Big 12 tournament in Dallas.
A team winless in the conference, the Cowboys went for sole possession of the Big 12's big candy dish that passes for a trophy. OSU head coach Eddie Sutton says we're #1, and they were today. Cowboys got off to a slow start, but John Lucas gave them a jump start. Janava Weatherspoon gets the steal and feeds Lucas for the runner in the lane. OSU went on a 21-7 run to take control. The Cowboy crowd was kind of quiet today, but this play got them going. Lucas dribbles out of trouble and finds Tony Allen for the one-handed slam. OSU led 30-16 at halftime. A&M shot just 25% in the first half. Lucas sparked the Cowboys early in the second half as well with a pair of three-pointers. He finished with 4 in the second half and led OSU with 20 points. Joey Graham added 14 for the Pokes, getting the bank shot here. OSU clinches their first outright regular season conference championship since 1965 with a 70-41 win. OSU improves to 24-3, 14-2 in the Big 12, their 17th conference title overall in men's basketball, and afterwards they receive their first Big 12 championship trophy.
I have never cut. This is my first time, but I know I want to keep doing it again and again, though. So I love the feeling. It's something I used to watch when I was little, when Duke used to win all the NCAA titles and put the net down, the crowd go crazy. I wanted to feel that, and today I got a little taste of it.
And in the beginning of the year, we sat down as a team and decided what our goals were going to be. Win 25 games was one of them. We were one win away from that and win Big 12. So we're accomplishing what we want to accomplish, and hopefully it's not the end of it.
Nice little collection to the trophy case there. The Oklahoma basketball team finished off their regular